Hi, welcome to Joy Painting. I'm Bob Ross. Today we're going to paint a seatonscape. We're going to load up the brush here with some Laurentian black, and maybe it's just a happy little tree living out here in the forest, and there's a trunk. It goes right down on the forest floor, and then we'll grab the brush and load it up with some azalea and crimson here, and it's a cherry blossom tree. There's just blossoms everywhere, and maybe they're growing down towards the bottom of the tree right here, and just some blossoms up here, and what do you know, and a little right there, just wherever we want to put them. And maybe there's some birds up here in this tree, and right there, they're just singing on the side. And what breed are they? I don't know. Maybe they're hate breed, and they're like gwar, gwar. And maybe there's a knot in the tree. Then maybe there's a big old knot right here in the middle of the tree. It just lives right there. And then, how about a little branch? It just comes out just wherever it wants to, and maybe it's just a little bit on fire. Okay. Until next time, happy painting, and God bless. Oh, and the boxcar starts now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. All around the NFL, coaches are getting snatched up left and right. McLovin, break it down for the Box Score Global audience. Who is the hottest prospect still out there for an NFL coach?
Oh, that'd be Seattle Seahawks defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Like, everybody doesn't know that internationally. I mean, come on, Brock. Ask me something tougher. You want me to know who the hottest coordinators are? Defense, offense, special teams coaches? There's a strength coach, an assistant strength coach out in San Francisco. I hear is really hot in Cleveland.
A lot of buzz?
A lot of buzz. His name is Bill. Bill something.
Well, we'll look for Bill to get snatched up by someone. Fritzy, you texted Tony Dungy earlier in the show. Were you actually begging him to be the Broncos head coach?
I was. I really wanted him to do that. I didn't want to, when we had him on the line, I didn't want to bug him. We had to get him ready to get on with Dan. But if I had an opportunity to sit with him for any length of time, I would kick and beg and plead and do whatever it took to see if Tony, even if it's just for 1 year, to get that marriage back with Peyton and give them one more run. And then Tony can go back to retirement, continue with Football Night in America. Peyton can go off into the sunset with hopefully a second career Super Bowl ring. But that would be amazing if Tony would coach Denver next year.
Well, Tony did eventually call in, but unfortunately he burst Fritzy's bubble because he loves him some Dan Patrick.
Tony, are you going to be the new head coach of the Denver Broncos?
Dan, would I rather be in Denver with Peyton Manning trying to win Super Bowls, or be with you and Rodney sitting in 10-degree weather in New England broadcasting games? You know the answer to that. I can't leave you and Rodney.
Oh, I was going to say yes. When is the press conference there?
I'm still going to hold out hope, especially the way he posed that. And, he got me excited there at first, making it sound like, how could he possibly pick continuing with Football Night in America over a chance to get back into coaching with Peyton and go after another title. But it sounds like he's definitely happy where he is at the Peacock and with Dan and Rodney and the guys. And he's turned down a lot of other jobs. Granted, they weren't Peyton Manning and a legitimate chance at a Super Bowl. But I just don't see that happening. I'm going to have to accept Tony Dungy will not be coaching the Broncos next season.
Yes, and the continuing downfall of the Broncos.
Now
the debate switched.
We talked about this before.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Brock, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, the debate switched from coaching to the greatness of assistant coaches. Does the head coach rub off on those guys, or do they stand alone? McLovin posed a similar question in the box.
Everyone knows the Danettes are great, but is that just because we bask in the glow of Dan Patrick's brilliance? That's to be determined. Honestly, I'd rather never have to find out, put myself in the open market and see, is McLovin a genius because he's near Dan? Well, I don't know if anyone's saying I'm a genius, or, it's a tough call. I mean, honestly, I think 2 out of the 4 Danettes are system Danettes. The other 2 are genuinely, have the real deal. But I'm not telling you which ones. I never thought you guys were going to hear that. I forgot about the box score.
The taping.
System
So 2 of you guys are system Danettes and 2 are not.
Who are
Just
they?
give it to us. We can take it. We're big boys.
Awkward.
Go ahead.
Awkward.
So you're included in that.
Oh, wait.
One of the,
That's weird. Did I say that? Was that today's show? I think I was referring to something else.
Ask the staff.
I don't remember saying that. I don't. I think you're misquoting me.
Brock, let's put it out to you. We're going to put you on the spot. If you were the boss of DirecTV, let's just say you were running things at DirecTV, and you only had the money to retain 3 of the 4 Danettes, who would you let go?
Oh my goodness.
Real question.
Boy, Fritzy brings all the people in. I just don't think that you could do without one of them. Seton, he's so vital. Paulie, you are the man behind the man. McLovin, I mean, do you just cast him out in the cold? I don't know. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna throw Fritzy out, and no guest. It's just Dan all the time.
Wow.
Your thoughts, guys?
Strong move, Brock. Good for you.
I was not expecting that answer, but good for you. That's the show can definitely function without guests, and you know we got to have someone steering the ship. We have to have someone handling all the many technical aspects, and we've all seen many things that can go wrong over the years if everything's not checked and double checked. And Seton has many more contributions beyond that anyway, so it's not even fair when I hear Seton being described as the technical guy. I've seen him do many other things that too numerous to mention.
So you agree with Brock?
I thought I had a shot over McLovin. As valuable as McLovin is as well, I thought that you know, if nothing else, my 12 years of experience with the Dan Patrick Show would get me at least the bronze medal if we had to pick 3.
I think honestly Brock was being smart. I mean, Brock sees of all the 4, who is probably the least sensitive Danette? You might as well kick Fritzy out because you get abused all day.
Yeah.
Throw it on the pile.
Why
like,
not?
what is Fritzy going to say? Wow, that Brock said something. We've all been insulting you all day.
I think there'd be like 25% of Fritzy if he got let go from the show. He'd be driving home going, you know what? I can get another job, probably with a lot less hassles, and I'm partially okay with it. It might be tempered, but it'd be in there.
Yeah, I think Brock had only one choice to say there, Fritzy, because if he said any others, you would have seen somebody quietly stewing for the next 20 minutes.
Well, McLovin, who are those 2 Danettes? Back to you on that one.
Gosh,
He's not letting that go.
What are you, Dan? Are you going the hard line of questioning?
Not letting you off the hook.
I can't reveal my 2-system
That
Danettes.
is so weak.
I can't reveal it. I'm sorry. I am not at liberty to say I take the 5th.
All right, how about this? Paulie, if Fritzy was thrown out in the cold, do you think he could have his own show and hold it up on his own?
Fritzy?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a sports show.
Yeah, it would be more of a Cinemax recap type show, like where he kind of like
where he gives running commentary of
kind
movies.
of like a Cinemax Red Zone.
Wow,
you know, like
play of adult entertainment.
because you know sometimes when you're watching questionable.
Let's head out to Musty
late
Cop
night-
6 here.
Yeah.
Looks like Steven had a
You'd be
little
the Andrew
premature accident.
Siciliano of
Let's get right out to Emmanuel 4. She's in space. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, we're gonna double box it. Whoa, what did I say? And like, you know,
Here comes Danielle. What is she up to? Something naughty.
yeah, you got that Andrew Siciliano of Cinemax late night
Does
television.
everyone remember, by the way, Brock, you know, one
Pizza guy's here. Something's gonna happen.
one desperate cold day, Todd sat in your chair and hosted the box score. Could Todd carry his own show? That day he had to carry his own show because the questions were so long that me and Seton walked out on him.
Yeah, once the audience tries to listen to me, you know, incoherently ramble for a certain period of time, you know, there's just too many other channels. There's too many other things that people can do with their lives.
What if there are 2 channels?
If there were only 2 channels, I'd have a shot. Especially if I was doing play-by-play or color analysis of adult entertainment scenes. I think that would be borderline entertaining for the public.
Oh, here's you, Fritzy.
Yeah, that's the Todd Fritz Show. Man, that is old school right there.
That's tough to watch and tough to listen to.
I was so glad I was in surgery that day. So glad.
Yeah, I need a teleprompter. I like to overly prepare. That's how I was in school for studying months in advance for a test. I need everything all spelled out and written out. I don't like to wing it if I don't have to. I like to have it all ready. So once they put me on the spot like that, to just start saying random things, that's what you get, which is not entertaining.
Oh, I disagree. All right, well, stick around. Pat McAfee and Andrew Luck are getting close.
Well, you did graduate from West Virginia.
Well, that's a funny story, Dan. I actually did not graduate.
You did not graduate.
Well, you know, me, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Kanye West, we all dropped out of college. But I plan on getting my degree one day. hopefully, if it all works out, not until 2050. We'll see how it goes.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Seton, looks like you're in good company with Pat McAfee and Einstein and Kanye West. Do you feel a kinship with the Colts punter, knowing that you're both just maybe a couple credits short of graduating in West Virginia?
Oh, absolutely, of course. It just, before the West Virginia thing was a great, he's got a great sense of humor and everything, and that was sort of a good bond, but now it's just cemented. I mean,
wait, was that real? He really went to West Virginia and didn't graduate? See, he made an Against the Grain reference before. I thought he was honestly paying homage to you by saying that.
So, no, I think that there's a lot of people who went to West Virginia and didn't graduate.
Oh, that's not so.
It's a fine university. But yeah, I don't think that's an uncommon story.
It's a great place to hang out for 2 to 2.5 years.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's tough time to make it out with a degree, or if you're a couch. Pat never holds anything back, and he was completely honest when talking about his relationship with quarterback Andrew Luck.
Does Andrew Luck know you?
No. Last year, I tweeted that picture where he was in the background. I think that was the first time he's ever heard of me. But other than that,
you have met Andrew Luck, right?
Yeah, we've when there's two guys in one shower, and you kind of have to say hello to each other. It's one of those moments where you're walking down the hallway. So that's about it. That's about the first time that Andrew and I really chatted. Aside from that, I'm not sure he knows my full name, but he just knows me as number one. So we're not best friends, I would say, but I think our relationship is on the ups.
I was thinking about this, and I know Pat's being a little facetious, but you think about it. During meetings, he's not in the meeting room with the quarterbacks. When he's on the field during practice, I'm sure he's not taking reps with the quarterbacks. And they only really are together when they're putting their stuff on or getting their stuff off. And then during the game, I can't see him for any reason speaking to Andrew Luck from a football standpoint. So I'll bet their actual interaction on a daily basis is about almost nothing.
And the very job of the punter represents your lack of success, that you screwed up, you didn't get the first down, now you got to punt.
Oh, yes.
So I think it would be very hard for any competitive quarterback, which they all, to be too close with a punter.
Yeah, I'll compare it to this. My first year in working in sports, I worked at CBS Sports, and Jim Nantz was the host in CBS Sports. And after about maybe 8 weeks there, I was starting to get to know people, really get my foot in the door and everything like that. I was a researcher in the background. I was like the lowest man in the building. And my mom or someone goes, "So do you know Jim Nantz?" I'm like, "I've never spoken one word to Jim Nantz. I'm sure he wouldn't recognize me in a lineup. He's probably never turned his head to the right to see if I'm alive or not." I got to know him, but you could work in the same room within feet of people every day and have no interaction with them. It's like this in the media too, even camera people. We'll go on the road sometimes and do a show, and there's a sound person, and you just say hello. You're professionally polite to them, but you may not have a long conversation with them.
Right. And it's funny too about mothers or families, because my mom will be like, "Hey, do you think Chris Collinsworth would take you on his jet to a Notre Dame game?"
His jet?
No. Why in the world would he do that?
But he works with Dad, and he came on the show.
Don't you think that? I think that would be nice. Yeah, I think it would be really nice too, but there's absolutely no chance in hell that something like that is happening. That's not at all what this job is like.
Collinsworth has a jet? Hey, McLovin, back to Andrew Luck. Have you heard any of his Game of Thrones cadences at the line?
They said Lord of Rings today, which is close to Game of Thrones, but actually I went into my
sorry, the one has gargoyles, the other one doesn't.
You do one of those?
Dude, now you're remembering Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd gone with like Gollum.
First of all, Gandalf would never be cut dead.
Could you do them? Could you do a cadence?
Lord of Rings, I could not. Lord of Rings, I'm not great on.
What about a Game of Thrones audible at the line?
Game of Thrones? Yeah, you'd be like.
And the Minotaur came in.
House of Lannister, House of Lannister, House of Lannister. Tyrion. I don't know. These guys don't get Game of Thrones. It's a wildly popular show. It's not nerdy.
It is.
There's a lot of nudity in it.
Who's there? There's like this picture of human chess pieces.
Yes, there are wizards casting spells, but that's not the only thing that's going on. It's a political commentary on, 15th century England. Hello.
Right.
It's hard to
when there were real dragons.
Real.
There's only 3 dragons.
Minotaurs? What do you call gargoyles?
Fritzy, you're laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the whole. I love when he starts trying to name it.
Fritzy's busy watching Victoria's Justice.
Exactly. I can't relate to that.
Minotaurs, gargoyles, all that stuff.
I'm watching Nickelodeon.
Right. Stay with us. We are going to be playing the wildly popular Know Your Own next.
Letterman's people asked if I wanted to come on Thursday.
Okay. I'll say.
The timing's good. We're in New York on Friday.
So it's not an easy yes or no.
Do you think Dave realized he called me a stooge?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, but a guy like Dave calling you a stooge, that's like
Is that a compliment?
Well, he considers himself a stooge. Like comedians are stooges.
I could see him having
The three stooges.
So I'm one of the stooges.
We are back here on the box score. The boss is going on Letterman tomorrow night, as we understand. When Sandler was on one time, Dave actually called the boss a stooge. Paulie, is the boss going to get an apology tomorrow?
No, he is not going to get a. David Letterman has yet to apologize to anybody and will never in his career. I think Dan's got it all wrong with Dave. I think Dave looks at Dan as someone who can play along with a joke. And the fact that he knew that he was in all Sandler's movies is actually a compliment to Dan. I think he's inferring it. Is that the word? Inferring it?
Implying?
The complete wrong way. And
right.
Yeah. And Dave's a funny guy. He likes people who can give it back and forth. He doesn't want to guess who's going to sit there like this. And Dan didn't last time. They jabbed each other back and forth. But it's just like Dan with John Smoltz. They could jab each other back and forth, and it ends, and they realize they're playing in front of people.
He's going on Letterman because they love him, and we know the Danettes love DP, but who's their other favorite TV show host? Let's see what they said as we play.
Know your role.
Front row, you're up first. Paulie, who's Seaton's other favorite TV show host?
Wow, this is so broad. I mean, it could be from the 70s, 80s, 90s, sports.
And today.
I think the only name that popped in my head was Jimmy Fallon.
Is it Jimmy Fallon?
Oh, man, I'm going to have to say Jimmy Fallon. Love Jimmy Fallon. He's really, I think, revolutionized The Tonight Show and brought it into a whole new audience. He's super funny. Really nice guy.
How about that? I have to be honest with you, I had absolutely no idea what my answer was there. And I was just as surprised as you all to see that it was Jimmy Fallon and we got it right. Well done.
I knew it the whole time.
Well done.
Good job. Back row, it's on you. McLovin, who's Fritzy's fave TV show host, other than DP?
Oh, Elvira?
Well, let's see.
Fritzy's
sort of cut off his cultural relevance around 1982.
86.
So
It's gotta be Phil Donahue.
So I'm gonna say Johnny Carson. I'm gonna go
Jesse Raphael?
Johnny Carson's a little too modern for him. He might go with
Arsenio Hall.
what's the guy who introduced the Beatles? It's the
Ed
Beatles.
Sullivan?
Show.
Yeah.
Ed
Sullivan.
It's either-
Byron Allen?
I want to go Ed Sullivan, but I'm gonna go Johnny
Yeah,
Carson.
not Jack
Johnny
Parr,
Carson.
but was it Johnny Carson?
I don't know. I really liked David Letterman growing up, the late night shows on NBC when he had the 12:30 spot. So if we did something non-sports, he's not as great as it used to be, but I'm going to say Letterman.
Kind of.
Okay, it's consternation there. Look, okay, back to the front row. Seaton, who's Paulie's top host, other than the boss?
Is this non-sports?
Yeah, it's non-sports.
Because my gut told me it was Brent Musburger. Because I know Paulie really loves Brent. I'm gonna have to say David Letterman also.
Yes, was it David Letterman?
Favorite all-time show host, hands down, is David Letterman. I've been a Letterman fan my entire life. Used to show up to school the next day completely wiped out and tired because I stayed up to watch Dave.
That's the truth. My college, I have a letter at home my mom got from my principal in high school saying, you can't let your son watch Letterman every night. He's sleeping in school all day. And my mom said, that's what he wants to do. He wants to work in that kind of industry. And he looks at that show as something he likes. And my mom actually had my back, which I got to tell you is all-time mom move. She said, hey, I'm not going to tell him not to watch David Letterman.
All-time mom move.
Yeah. But I mean, if you would ask anyone in my high school, I used to sit there with a pen and write down David Letterman's top 10 list. They only showed it once. There's no such thing as DVR. I'd write it down as fast as I could, and I'd post it in my locker the next day. And you could ask anyone in my school. They used to come by my locker in the morning because no one would watch Letterman and read the top 10 list. So I'm
That got you a lot of girls?
None. None. Zero.
Back row, one more. Fritzy, McLovin's favorite host, other than Dan Patrick.
All true.
I was going to say Ellen because of the clothes, and then I thought maybe Flip Wilson because he's got that wacky side to him from back in the day. But
McLaughlin? McLaughlin Group?
I'm going to stand firm. Wrong. Merv Griffin.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if you
I
are wrong. Was it Merv Griffin?
Why would he like it? Because you watched it.
Yeah, just
Because he's an intellectual
My
alert.
favorite show host of all time? I'm gonna have to say David Letterman. Although he could have been a little nicer to Dan, that kind of bugged me. But you know, through the years, he's been the man.
I watched all of that growing up.
Merv Griffin was on it. I was like, I didn't know. See, what happened was I split my
I
vote
almost
with
said Dinah Shore.
Phil Donahue and Merv. I couldn't decide between Phil Donahue and Merv Griffin, so I decided to go safer. You know, and trust me, Michael Douglas got some votes too.
Mike
Remember
Douglas was very good. Then John Davidson replaced Mike.
Yeah.
Remember, who was the dude, Morton Downey Jr.?
Oh yeah, the
Remember that
loudmouth.
guy?
He
Yeah,
kicked people out.
Smoking.
He throw
and
people
stuff.
out.
That guy was awesome.
Who was the guy? This guy I actually really loved. Who was the guy late night after Letterman who used to sit there? Tom.
Oh yeah, Tom Franklin or
No,
something.
not Tom Franklin. I know who you're talking about.
Gene
Tommy
Scott.
Arnold.
Oh, he did that for a long.
No, Tom. He always
Silver-haired guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Silver-haired guy.
Tom Snyder.
The one-
Tom Snyder.
Tom Snyder.
Tom
Yes,
Snyder
Tom
was
Snyder.
awesome, man. What an underrated. I wish people could saw him. Tom Snyder was a great TV host.
Dan Aykroyd did a good Tom Snyder. All right, well, it's no surprise
Yeah.
the front row is the winner on Know Your Row. Don't go away.
No surprise.
We will find out if any of the guys would date a trained assassin. We're closing up shop here in the box score. The bar is closed. All the shellback's gone, and I could use a 7-day chip. Paulie, there's a couple stories floating out there. I want to know which one you would believe more. Is it this Rob Conrad swimming 9 miles or Kurt Busch's ex-girlfriend being a trained assassin?
I think Kurt Busch is exaggerating a little bit. I think Rob Conrad believes what he did. I don't know exactly what he did, but I'm sure when he was, Rob Conrad, the former Dolphins fullback, was swimming in the ocean to save his life, I don't think he was checking mile by mile and adding up the feet each stroke. So it could have been anywhere from 3 to 30 miles they were swimming. All I know is it appears that he did swim for his life from falling for a boat. Now, I did some research on Kurt Busch's girlfriend, and I tend to believe Kurt. If you look at, she's got a deep military background. She still works for like a defense contractor. That doesn't mean she's an assassin, but it also doesn't mean she's a school teacher.
Well, you know what though? See, I've put a little bit of thought in this too because I've seen a lot of Bourne Identity movies, and he like never just came home covered in blood after killing someone. You know, he usually. I mean, it sounds like if she was actually an assassin, she was a really bad one.
Yeah.
How do you walk around with bloodstains?
Like Mr. and
Yeah,
Mrs.
like-
Smith hid it from each other for decades.
Exactly. Yeah, they had no idea. So,
Yeah.
like, she's
Gotta
just
bring a
like,
change of clothes in the duffel
hey,
bag.
yeah, so I'm in a wedding dress for some reason or whatever, and like, yeah, I got all this blood spattered all over me. That's weird. Just gonna go change.
Gotta-
Like, you would never do that. A
gotta
real
hide that a
assassin
little bit.
would have hit it better.
I'll tell you though, sometimes my family, if they're watching like a movie or something when I come home, the level of ignorement that goes on when I walk in the door, I could walk in covered with cow's blood.
Yeah,
They're like,
just gotta-
hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You know, like they wouldn't even notice that. I could walk in with a suit of armor, and my daughter would be like, yeah.
Well, Fritzy was really into the Kurt Busch saga, so much so that he started repeating people.
He said she came home one time from a weekend away and she took off her jacket and she had like a nice dress on and it was completely covered with blood.
Yeah. Don't want to go to bed angry with her. Yeah, Fritzy.
There's an ex-girlfriend that supposedly was this trained assassin.
Oh, it was his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, and supposedly he's seen pictures of her coming back with a bloodstained gown or dress, I read there.
Yeah.
I missed that.
You missed it.
The best part of that is that it's not actually edited together. That was the actual timeline.
Well,
That was real
you
time.
could look at it as if it was good journalism. We had two sources on the story.
That is true.
You wanna-
That is positive.
Unlike Rob Conrad.
Yeah, like Rob Conrad. I mean, there's other things going on besides the national radio and television show that you got to pay attention to.
Well, actually, to be fair to Fritzy, him and I were debating. Was it girlfriend or wife? Because Dan had asked us to look it up, and we were having a discussion about that, and that's why he missed.
But
what
see,
you were
that's what
saying.
happens though, because I was one time looking up who the other non-Hall of Fame band was, while the caller, luckily didn't curse, that was great, said Alice Cooper, and then as soon as the caller hung up, I was like, oh, Dan, Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
You know, I did the exact same
There-
thing,
there
but I
are
was so
moments
into
where
what
you're
I was
trying to get
reading that I
pulled
just
away.
wasn't paying attention to what the guy was saying.
But it is unfortunate when it's within seconds of someone just saying that, then it's like it really
Supposedly.
stands out like you're in your own space land, which is
Supposedly.
Supposedly, she came home covered in blood in a dress.
Sources tell me there's a situation.
All right, Fritzy,
I
don't be
second
in
that. There was
space
blood.
land.
I see
All
it. I saw the article too.
Okay, Fritzy, who is on tomorrow, please?
New Bills head coach Rex Ryan will join us. Six-time Pro Bowler, Jet Center Nick Mangold will be on hand. And Paul Burmeister of Pro Football Talk, NBC Sports Network, co-host with Mike Florio.
And Brock,
joins us in studio.
we also have Nick Mangold on tomorrow, and Rex Ryan, the new Bills
And
coach,
Paul
will be joining
Burmeister.
us. Paul Burmeister, by the way, from the
Yeah.
See what he did
I
there?
see what he did there. That was
Just
funny.
said the same thing repeated.
There's an
I
echo,
was a bit-
echo. Thanks for watching. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Audience Channel 239. The podcast is available with extra content on iTunes or at podcast1.com.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!